Hey everybody, welcome to Facebook Live Ask Admissions. My name is Jordan Stevenson. I'm the Director of Student Recruitment. Yes, it is Facebook Live Day again. I hope you've missed me. It's been a couple of Facebook Lives since I've been out here. If you haven't, don't comment below. I don't want to know. So if you prefer Jacinta over me, or prefer when we work together, feel free to share those comments, but don't share about how you prefer Jacinta over me. I can't handle it. So we have a very special Facebook Live Ask Admissions here for you today. Today is about international admissions. So if you want to know about how to get into the university and you are an international student, today is your day. Of course, we will answer any questions that you have, so please feel free to post them there in the comments section. But without further ado, I've got some special guests with me today, so I'm going to turn it over to them to introduce themselves, and then I'll give you news from the nest.
Hi everybody, it's great to see everybody. My name is Will Morandi, and I actually work in international admissions.
Hi everybody, I'm Callie Rendon. I'm an admissions counselor specializing with the international recruitment. In addition to me being part of the admissions team, I also recently graduated from Kennesaw State University, and I'm so happy to share with you all the great benefits of being part of KSU.
Hooty hoo.
Yeah.
Hooty hoo.
Yeah, Callie was a student assistant over on the international admissions side of the office for a couple of years, and I know she worked closely with Will for a good bit of that time, and then we were happy to be able to hire her right after she graduated.
Yay!
Worked out perfectly. Sometimes life works like that.
Yep.
So a couple of bits of information for you from news from the nest. All right, got to make sure I got my fors and my froms correct. So really big news. We won the Declaration Days contest. Number one in the nation. Hooty hoo, go Owls. It was awesome. So thank you for everybody out there that participated. We had over 3,700 first-year students declare that they are coming to KSU. Now I want you to know that's just a little bit under half of our freshman class, first-year class. So there's a lot of you out there that didn't declare, but we know that you're coming because you're signing up for orientation. So we really, really appreciate it. This is an orientation plug. If you're out there and you're coming for fall 2020 and you have not signed up for orientation, do not delay. You need to dual screen right now, Facebook Live on one side, bring up another website, right? Go to our orientation website. It is as easy as going to orientation.kennesaw.edu, clicking on register. There's going to be all the dates out there. That is what you need to do to register for orientation. That is how you commit to the university. So if you've yet to do that, you should have gotten an email. If you're a first-year student, you've been admitted to the university, and you didn't register for orientation, please check your email, both your Kennesaw email and your personal email, because you should have gotten an email saying, hey, this is how you do it. This is why you should come to orientation. I mean, it's mandatory amongst other reasons why you should come to orientation, so all that other stuff. But we want you to be like all those other students that did declare that they're coming to KSU, made us number one in the nation. We're going to have some really cool information coming out about Declaration Days and us being the champions this year. So heads up on that, watch out. Okay, other big things going on. If you have yet to visit campus, if you didn't get that chance before COVID-19 shut the world down, right, then you can do so virtually. We have, and I'll put it up against anybody's virtual tour, the best virtual tour in the nation. You need to go and visit it. Very simple, go to visit.kennesaw.edu. Virtual tour is right there, click on it. We also have some virtual information sessions. So Will right here, he did the International Admissions Virtual Information Session. You can go and watch it. We have one for transfer students. We also have one for first-year students. So if you're out there and you haven't applied yet, and you're a first-year student, or you're a transfer student, or an international student, there's still time. So we have big deadlines coming up. June 1st is the big deadline for the summer. That's the final deadline. Can't go past it. You've got to apply and turn in all your documentation to be admissible for the summer by June the 1st. And then for fall, two separate deadlines to pay attention to. June the 1st for first-year students. So that's June. That's easy to remember. Hopefully, June the 1st, first-year students. So apply by June the 1st, and that's if you want to come fall 2020. And then your document deadline is June the 15th. If you're a transfer student, or you're a transient student, or a non-degree seeking student, adult learner, all these other populations outside of the first year population, you have until June the 12th. and then your document deadline is June the 26th. So keep those things in mind, okay? But make sure you're meeting our deadlines, and we are in a really good spot. We're reviewing applications on a first-come, first-served basis, and very quickly right now we're turning out decisions very quickly, so don't delay, and you'll get an earlier decision. Then you can sign up for things like orientation that'll help you get into your classes and be ready to go for the fall. Another big thing that I want to remind you of, and that is the Fafsa. So if you have yet to do the Fafsa, this is so you can qualify for grants, loans, work study here at the university. You need to do your Fafsa. The way I always put it, and it's very relevant right now with Michael Jordan's The Last Dance documentary, even if you're rich like Michael Jordan's kids, you should fill out the Fafsa. All right, so period, end of sentence. That should not disqualify anyone out there, right? Like everybody is probably less rich than Michael Jordan's kids, or equally as rich, or something like that. Maybe a few of you more, richer. But that should mean to you, I should fill out the Fafsa, okay? And I always say this in all the years I've worked in admissions: you never know what's going to happen in life. And that's a good thing to have out there, even if you do not plan on taking out loans, or if you do not think you qualify for grants or work study. This is a good thing in life. All right, so you need to fill out the FAFSA. That way you've got it back there for you. All right, those are all of my big news from the nest nuggets there, we'll call them. Yeah. So if you've got questions, please post them there in the Facebook Live chat. We're going to post a lot of links, so how you can get to all these different things that we're talking about today. But I want to know, I just want to go ahead and throw this out to the both of you. So working with international students in your experience, both long experience and shorter experience, although very recent, which is very handy. What's your one really big piece of advice for international students that are applying to Kennesaw State?
Well, typically what I talk with students about is making a plan, because you do have to think about what it's going to take to be able to come to Kennesaw from another country, what's it going to take to be able to get your documents to the United States. It's not as simple as it is, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad, but have a plan. Have a plan and execute that plan.
For me, the same advice, but also ask questions. Always ask questions. We're always available for you. And we have different departments who work with international students, and we really want your transition to Kennesaw State University to be as smooth as possible. So always ask questions. Don't think that you know it all. Just ask questions so that way we can provide the answers to you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best way for an international student to ask questions? How does it make it easiest for them, more importantly, right? But also for us.
You want to? Oh, okay, sure. Yep. No, I like email, because email, if you have questions within the email, you can translate it if you have to. That way you might get a better perspective of the question itself or my response back to you. Mm-hmm. Also, time zones, you don't have to worry about time zones or anything like that when you're dealing with emails and things of that nature. Where with the phone call, of course, you can always call, but you just have to think about the time zones.
That's true. That's true.
I personally like email and phone, just because when you're talking on the phone with the student, you can help them actually fill out the application and help them with any questions that they may have that maybe you're not able to convey through email.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I definitely want to talk today about all the different ways we're trying to connect with international students, especially now during the time of COVID-19. And then some of the things that we've done to alleviate some of these pain points for international students. So we'll make sure we touch on those. But I think we've got a question.
Yes, we do. We have our first international question.
Hot dog.
So it states that I am a student coach, and my student school year goes from January to November.
Yeah.
I would like to know the deadlines to apply for the 2021-22 year, and or understand if there's a possibility to start in spring 21 as an international student.
Good question. I do understand that, because student education doesn't follow the same path as every country. And so I do have a lot of students that do finish in November, sometimes in July even. And so we do try to do everything we can for the student to try to benefit them. The thing with working past any deadline is the fact of the visa appointments, getting your documents for the visa shipped to your home country and things of that nature. And so for spring 2021, that November date, we would be past that deadline for spring. And so we do what we can, but I do like to try to adhere to the deadlines just so that you're given a little bit more opportunity to not have to stress through the visa embassy interviews and things of that nature. That way you're prepped. But do look at our deadlines on our admissions website for those later terms. And so hopefully by that point in time, yeah, everything will be smooth.
Yeah, back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah, back to normal.
Right.
So I've got a follow-up question.
Of course.
If I'm an international student, can I email in my documentation and my scores? How do I submit those?
Sure, thank you. Typically when you're dealing with scores or something along those lines, whether it be TOEFL, IELTS, SAT, ACT, you can actually log into the system and send those scores officially through the provider. Whereas for your individual documents, we do have to go through what's called a third-party evaluation. And a lot of times we tell students to, instead of sending the documents directly to us right away, is to go through that evaluation process. So that way you're not having to request for your transcript 2 times where you can just do it the one time, have it be sent to the evaluation company, and then the evaluation company typically would send the official documents along with that completed evaluation. And that's how I typically would like to have it. I do have students that have emailed me documents. And I will put it in your admissions file, but the official way is to go through the evaluation company and then through the they send it to Kennesaw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And some evaluation companies can send it electronically or in the mail. So you have 2 different options.
So it does speed up the process.
Yeah, we still pick up the mail. You go there every Tuesday and
Thursdays.
Nice.
Good.
Perfect. I have an adult learner question now.
Okay.
Cool.
Change gears a little bit. Okay. I've submitted my AccuPlacer test scores. I passed the reading and writing, but I missed the minimum score for math. Should I retake the test, or is there a way to appeal the math score for admission?
Sure. No, good question. I do get that question quite often too. I do work with the Bridge program. And so if I have a lot of students in that same situation where the English and reading, piece of cake, and then that math. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, I would say do try to take the exam again. There's not much there is no leeway with the exam scores because you do have to make a certain exam score in order to be able to be admissible. If you're 1 point off, it's still not able to come to Kennesaw. Where I would advise to take that exam again. A lot of times it's your first time taking the exam, and this way the second time you're a little more prepared for it, you know what to expect, so you might do a little bit better that second time. And to reach out to me, my email will be in the chat and everything else. That way we can communicate off of Facebook in a sense, and that way I can help you through the admission process.
Nice.
Wonderful. Sorry, Callie, I thought you were about to add to what he was saying.
The other thing is that if you would like to prepare yourself better for the AccuPlacer, the College Board website actually offers study material for you to better prepare yourself for the next time you take the test.
Yeah, let me throw out one thing as well that's in line with what Callie was talking about is there's this really cool thing. A lot of parents know about it because their students in high school have been using this resource as well as lower grades. But Khan Academy, Khan Academy, which does partner with College Board, what I really like about well, there's two things I really like about Khan Academy. One, it's free. Two, you can approach very specific subject matter within math or English or all these different subject areas, but particularly for math. I mean, something that I would need to do, and did go look at it before I was taking the GRE. The last time I took the GRE was just brushing up on some different subject areas within math, because math is not my strong suit. So it doesn't make you go through, a whole giant workbook, which to me is a little bit overwhelming. I could focus in on just some specific areas, like trying to remember just something simple like college algebra. So things like that.
Perfect. Okay, another international question, and then Jordan, you're going to be in the hot seat for orientation and why it's virtual and all of that exciting part. So here's my international question. As an international student, does my transcript have to be evaluated by World Education Services or Joseph Silney, or by NACES, and what do you advise is the best?
Sure, good question. You want to touch on that?
Yeah, so if you go to the website www.naces.org, you will find about 19 members of NACES. That includes Joseph Silney, World Education Services, or WES, and so you can choose any of the 19 members of NACES. It doesn't have to be WES or Joseph Silney.
Yep. The good thing with some of those, the two that you did mention, is the fact that we do get those electronically. And so when you get those electronically, it kind of speeds up the process a little bit. But there are 19 companies to choose from. Any of them will be great to work with. Just make sure that you decide on whether you need a course-by-course evaluation or a document-by-document with GPA evaluation.
Nice.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Fantastic. Okay, here is the orientation question. We're having virtual orientation this summer for fall classes and for summer classes as well that have already started. So what is the fee for? Are we going to be refunded if we paid the large portion earlier? And how will we know that that's coming through?
I'm glad you asked that question, as Donald Coleman, the Director of Orientation and Transition Programs, always likes to say. Hello, Donald, and probably Brandon if you're watching this, and Alex and the different people from the orientation office. Right now, the orientation fee for virtual orientation, it's live, but it's virtual, just like we are right now. Live, but you're watching us virtually through the power of the human intellect, the internet, and your computer, or whatever device you're watching this on. So virtual orientation is $40 for students and $20 for parents. That is a discount over the normal fees. Normally, orientation is $60 for students and $70 for parents. So this is a great savings for everybody, for students and for parents. If you were one of the students that registered, and parents that registered for orientation early, as we were asking you to do, when you're ready to commit to the university, you register for orientation. That is how you tell Kennesaw State, I am coming to Kennesaw State. So if you did that early and you paid the $60, your $20 for students will be refunded to your student account. The $50, the difference between the parent original $70 one and now the $20 one, will be refunded to you as well. So those are coming. I know orientation is working on this refund process with the university and what that looks like, so there's not a date that you're going to receive that refund, but what orientation has been saying is that it's sometime here over the summer. You'll receive that the appropriate refund. Sorry. The virtual environment. So when and I've gotten to test out some of the virtual orientation platform that they're using, and it's a mixture of this really cool program where you're put through different steps to orient you to the university. That's really like pre-orientation, just to get you up to date on the history of KSU, student affairs, student life, everything that's going on here at the university, all of the different resources that are available to you to help you be successful. Some of those, what I call the nitty-gritty, the things you need to know, like payment deadlines, how do I pay my tuition bill, housing, all those kinds of things, meal plan, parking, so on and so forth. That's all included in the kind of pre-orientation. And then the day of orientation is live for you. You do a lot of cool things. They're doing a lot of it. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. That needs to be for your orientation day. But you get an email 2 weeks before your orientation. So for instance, we have our first summer orientations that are for fall coming up May 28th and 29th. And those students got their first emails last week saying, hey, this is everything that's going to happen during your orientation. These are the times you need to log in. This is the link to log in. They're using Zoom. So, you know, everybody knows how to use Zoom now. My grandma knows how to use Zoom now, okay? If you don't know how to use Zoom, then, you know, God bless you, because you probably don't have a computer and you haven't been forced to do any of this stuff, and that's awesome. And you know, you live in a log cabin somewhere without power. That's fantastic. Like, that's a dream life right now. So you should know how to use Zoom. If not, it's very user-friendly. And the main live sessions are going to happen in Zoom. So easy, accessible, and they're going to make them as live and engaging as possible, right? And then there'll be a lot of follow-up afterwards. And once we're here on campus, in person, seeing each other again, orientation is going to do a lot of other cool things, like partnering with student affairs on our week of welcome and things like that. So did I miss any bit of the question?
I think you got it.
Okay, awesome.
My grandma's using Zoom, and she has dial-up, so she's doing it.
Wait a minute. I didn't even know they sold dial-up anymore. I didn't even know this was an option
You can
on the
call
option
her.
list. Does she have a jitterbug phone as well?
She has the
It's
one
like
with
this.
the wire, and she still stands in her kitchen to talk on it. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
worries.
So,
What's
there
that?
you
No
go.
worries.
We
No
love grandma.
worries.
She has to unplug it so she can plug it into her computer. That's so cool.
Okay, so we have a follow-up question with our adult learner about remedial classes or learning support classes. Does Kennesaw offer learning support? And this would actually be a good question for our international students too. And is there a minimum test score or a maximum to test out of those classes?
Good question. Yes, I'd have to look up the test score to actually, for math, to be able to test out of it, because they do look at, I think it's like 636. It's like a random number. It doesn't correlate to the exam itself. But Kennesaw State, we've gone away from a lot of our learning support classes. And so we have partnered with a couple of institutions, what's called the Bridge program, and that's what I work with my non-traditional students. And so, and it is to get past those learning support, not hurdles, but it is a hurdle. It's not going to stop you. It's just a blip in the map. When I was in school, I ended up actually needing my learning support classes. But do reach out to me so that way I can best advise you for your situation. But yes, we have partnered with schools, and we'll be able to bridge and be able to get you where you need to be in order to be able to finish here at Kennesaw State.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is a fun question about international students and scholarships.
Ooh.
Do we know what is available to international students and scholarships? Do they have to fill out something separate than domestic students? What information do you have?
Yes, we do offer what we call the out-of-state tuition waiver for F1 students. So if you have an active F1 visa status and you've been admitted to Kennesaw State University, we can go ahead and send you the application form so you can, so we can have it processed and determine if you're eligible to receive the tuition waiver. If you qualify and if you receive it, your tuition and fees will be reduced from out-of-state to in-state. So it's a really cool scholarship or form of financial aid. The other thing is that the scholarship website now has what we call the scholarship universe. So that's where you can find external scholarships, which we really encourage you to research about and really find out if there are other forms of financial aid out there especially for you international students.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. Yeah, we'll post those links out there for you here in Facebook Live, both the international tuition waiver and scholarship, as well as the Scholarship Universe link. All you have to do for the Scholarship Universe application is to have a KSU ID which is your net ID in this case, and a password. So if your net ID and password are active, you can log in and apply for all these different scholarships that have been vetted by Kennesaw State.
Okay, we've got another question, and it's opposite from what we're talking about. So we have a student at Kennesaw who would like to get a job in London, and career planning and development is on here.
Cool.
Jordan, would you like to talk a little bit about what career planning and development does and how they can help our students find jobs and internships?
Sure. I first want to talk about why the student wants to go to London and leave the incredible United States of America. But anyways, we can have a side conversation about that. By the way, my best friend growing up, I won't tell you which institution he went to, but he went to another school and ended up getting 3 undergraduate degrees. That sounds insane to me. But he had a whole plan. He made a plan, just like Will talked about.
The plan.
And then he went to, his dream was to live in London, and that's where he lives right now. So he went to the London School of Economics and got his PhD and lives there in London and is probably spending all of his big bucks on housing to live in London. But anyways, neither here nor there. Probably doesn't have a car there. Okay, so
That's okay.
You do
Got
what you
the
want to
tube.
do.
You got the tube.
So working with career planning and development, that's what you want me to talk about? Because I totally forgot as I'm rambling through.
Yes.
Yes, okay, great.
And
So-
how it will help the student.
Yeah. How? Okay. So so this is a current student here at KSU.
Yep.
So you current student that wants to live in London town, then
Holiday.
you have to be working with career planning and development. One, all of their resources, whether it be right now building up your resume and them helping you write your resume, tweaking your resume, helping you with your cover letter, starting to practice interviews. They help you with all of these things and have some incredible resources both on their website. Right now, if you need to have a virtual chat with them and ask questions, they're available for you, as well as going into things like Handshake to find jobs both on and off campus for your future, so you can continue to build your resume, find internship opportunities, all sorts of things like that. So I definitely recommend, and career planning and development talks about this. I don't know what year you are as a current student, but we recommend that as soon as you're getting here to Kennesaw State University, you should be working with career planning and development. So as a first-year student, start working with career planning and development. Take advantage of the different opportunities that they offer for job shadowing and testing out different careers, the different things that they do by bringing in guest lecturers and things like that, as well as participating in a lot of their events. They have some really cool events that happen both during the normal kind of school week as well as on the weekends that you can participate and learn a lot. I participated in one that happened towards the end of the fall that happened on a Saturday, and it was just awesome, an incredible event. And I work here at the university, and got to learn some things about careers that I just hadn't thought about for a long time. But neither here nor there. So definitely check out Career Planning and Development's website. And then also we have students that have both had internships internationally as well as have left the institution after graduating to go work internationally. And our Career Planning and Development office has the insight and the expertise to help you prepare for a job overseas, abroad, away from the incredible United States of America. So they can definitely help you prepare for your future life in London.
Great, fantastic. Okay, that's exciting news. But I am a transfer student. And I'm
Perfect.
coming to Kennesaw, so I'm excited to become an OWL. How does transferring work with GPA and the Hope Scholarship? What do I need to be aware of?
Well, transferring to Kennesaw wouldn't be too bad coming from another institution within the United States. All we would have to have is really just your college transcripts, all your college transcripts. So if you attended multiple schools, we want to make sure that we have all those transcripts here at KSU. And having the Hope means that you have a good GPA, so you're well above our minimum requirement, so that's awesome. And so they do look at the total number of credit hours that you've earned, the total number of credit hours attempted as well, because I know there are limits based on those two things. But I'll have to refresh my memory a little bit about the Hope.
Yeah, so I mean, hope in terms of qualifying. If you're at another USG institution and you've had the Hope Scholarship there, that's awesome. You're evaluated every 30, 60, 90 credit hours, no matter the USG institution that you attend. So when you come here to KSU, you'll be evaluated for the Hope, or if you have Zell Miller, maintaining Zell Miller as well, bringing that over with you. So whatever you've got currently, you would bring it with you to Kennesaw State. Transferring over, and then you'd be evaluated just like you would at your home institution. So although KSU will be your home institution now. Yeah, I mean, honestly, transferring, if you're at another USG institution, it's even easier. I mean, Will was talking about just general regionally accredited universities in the United States. Coming to a big institution like Kennesaw State, we're one of the 50 largest public institutions in the United States. You're hard pressed to find degree programs that we don't have, as well as just classes that we don't offer. So articulating, that means translating your previous credit to KSU credit is a pretty straightforward process. And we've seen almost every institution. We even have a transfer equivalency guide to help you with the institutions that we've already evaluated and the credit from these institutions on our website. So if you go to the transfer portion of the admissions website, you can see all of that. But you shouldn't have any issue with Hope or Zell Miller if you already have it. And then also while you're in college, let's say you don't have it. Like let's say you graduated high school in Georgia, but you had a 2.9 Hope GPA and you were not awarded Hope. If you come to KSU or wherever you're at right now, and then you come to KSU, if you get your GPA to a 3.0 at the next evaluation point, 30 hours, 60 hours, 90 hours, because you graduated from a Georgia high school, we'll evaluate you for Hope, and you could then qualify for Hope, which would be awesome. So if you didn't qualify before, but then you as I like to talk about, college is the last blank slate you'll ever get in your life. It's the last time the slate's wiped clean. After that, it sticks with you forever once you start college. So use it to your advantage to have this blank slate for one last time. And if you're just busting your tail and doing really well in school, then we'll reevaluate you at those 30, 60, 90 credit hour marks. But you need to fill out your Fafsa. That's always a thing. You do that every year. And then if you haven't filled out the Hope application, you only fill out the Hope application once. And that's what's great. I always recommend you do both. You fill out the Hope application as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, or if you haven't filled it out before, you fill it out. And then that sits out there until you graduate with your bachelor's degree. So it's always active, unlike the FAFSA that you have to fill out every year, renew it every year.
Okay, Callie, we have a Global Village in here answering questions.
Yeah, cool.
Can you just tell us about who they are, who they serve?
Yeah, of course. So Global Village is a space for international and domestic students to go and hang out and study if they want to. The coordinator for the Global Village, I know her personally. Her name is Terminia, and she's really cool. The Global Village provides a lot of resources for students. They have a resource library, so if you need to study for the GRE or the TOEFL, they have it available for you. They also have a study area, and they also have a social space where you can get to socialize and make friends. They also offer different programming every, I think it's monthly and weekly, and they will be showing you different things about cultural awareness and how KSU is, they offer different discussions about cross-cultural people and just different things about the global, how we're becoming a more global community, especially here at Kennesaw State University.
Great, thank you. You just got a shout out from them. And actually, all of you have had a lot of shout outs. Jordan, just so you know, Career Planning and Development likes your new haircut. So maybe you can tell them where you get your haircut.
Thank you. Hey, I'm always proud to talk about where I get my haircut. It's right down the street, Floyd's Barber Shop. So if you're coming here to KSU and you want a boy haircut like this,
shout out,
then go to Floyd's, see my barber, Sarah. You got to go to Sarah.
Sorry.
Okay? You can go to some of the other people. That's cool, but Sarah's the best. Go see Sarah. Tell her that Jordan sent you. Will sent you too, but Jordan sent you really. I just saw her yesterday. She's fantastic, and it's an incredible place. And then you get to support local businesses, local people here in Kennesaw.
Today is brought to you by Sarah at Floyd's
At
Barbershop.
Floyd's Barbershop.
And to I want to go back to the Global Village. To me,
Yeah.
it's like no, it is.
As you
It's like
should, as you
it's
should.
like
And
it's a home away from home for our international
It really does
students.
feel like it.
I mean, because it's our domestic students can come to, but I mean, there's so many great opportunities to be able to meet other people and everything else from in that area with the Global Village. But it's like a home away from home. It's like a safe space. In a
Let's
sense.
talk about that a little bit more, if you don't mind. I mean, not just the Global Village, but what is life like at Kennesaw State University, both campuses, for an international student? And sure, there's Global Village, right? Great partnership, but how do international students really build community and find their place, their fit here at Kennesaw State?
Sure. There's a bunch of different organizations and clubs. Here at Kennesaw
Not those
State.
clubs.
Not those
Student
clubs.
clubs.
Student clubs.
Well said, Callie.
Student organizations.
There you go.
Student organizations. Some of them are based on country, like that way you can get together with other people within your from your same country. If you wanted to get another experience, I mean, you could join the different areas. There's also I just had it. ISSS. No, it's International Student Scholar Services.
Office.
Thank you. Yes, they're the ones that are actually helping you out with your I-20 and your visa questions and things of that nature. But they're also there as a resource as well. But I mean, get active. There's so many organizations and clubs to be able to be a part of here at Kennesaw State. It's beautiful because I mean, I always talk about the hammock club just because the hammock club, they put up hammocks out in the trees and everything else, and you'll see them like 3 high, but they're just hanging out, studying together, reading books together, and it doesn't, you're part of the KSU, and it's a great way to get together with those organizations.
Yeah, and I want to add to the International Student and Scholar Services Office, they also offer advisement sessions for you before you become a student and even during your time here at Kennesaw State. So if you have like questions about internships, things like that, they'll be answering questions for you. And they also can take you around the Atlanta area. They take you on a field trip, so it's really cool. And the Global Village does that as well. And like you said, there are so many clubs, student clubs, that are different depending on, they have like a Filipino club and Latino clubs, things like that. And they have festivals all year round. And sometimes you get to try their food, and you don't have to be part of that ethnicity or culture to be a part of it. You can just go there and have fun. I don't know if you know about this, Will, but they also have the International Education Week. You know, do you want to share some stuff about that?
Yep. Normally we have like a year of, and they have, last year was the year of Cuba, and then I was trying to remember this year, is it New Zealand? I think
Yes,
it's New Zealand.
will be 2021 and 2022.
And so normally what they do is they invite people to be able to come in and talk, have lectures about the country, kind of globalization to where you can kind of get more in depth. And so it's hosted by Education Abroad. And going back to that student about London as well, I mean, Education Abroad can also help with internships and things of that nature outside the U.S., along with, you know, bringing students awareness about activities and things like that that are happening outside the United States.
This is fantastic. The ISA just dropped their Insta handle, Kennesaw ISA, so you can go and follow them or slide into their DMs. They were just talking on here all about their events they do throughout the year, so definitely check that out.
Awesome.
Callie, you just got a glowing comment from Nisha. I think I said that correctly. Maybe I didn't.
Yes, she was my professor.
Let me please tell you what she
Yeah.
said, and you can be glowing for the rest of the day.
That's awesome.
She said, I have taught hundreds of students at KSU over the last 6 years, and Callie is a standout. One of the best students I have had the honor of encountering.
Awesome.
my
Oh, thank you so much.
Awesome.
That's
I don't know if I
fantastic.
hit my mic. Thank you so much. Shout out to Professor Guramatuma Cooper.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that. Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
So speaking of being a student, Jordan, I want to hop over about your thought process as a father of a college student, as well as you are in your doctoral program. We've got everything going on with COVID, and we're not really sure what's going to happen throughout the year. If you're accepted for this year, can you defer entry into KSU until fall 2021 since we don't know what's going to happen? What is your advice with that?
Okay. So we're there's a lot of research out there right now and a lot of thoughts that are floating around the internet, because we all now are living our lives on the internet. So we're just inundated constantly with information. It's hard to process all of the information, and then you're trying to apply everything that's happening outside of your home, wherever you're living, right, with how do you approach college. So all this news that you're getting from all these different sources and trying to compile it all down, and then who do you trust, who do you ultimately use to make decisions, and then you're trying to make the best possible decision about your student or yourself going to college this fall, whether that be in person, a hybrid, online, a number of other scenarios that could work out, right? So a lot of the conversations that we're having with families right now is, should I delay my start or my students' start to college because, or even for, I'm having some conversations with families about current students, because somehow they get back to admissions, current students wanting to take a semester off instead of enrolling this fall. I want to not diminish the difficulty of switching, because I think that's part of what we experienced this spring, even as well as Kennesaw State tried to do and other institutions tried to do with switching what were traditional in-person courses to online courses. And I don't think so much about, I mean, my doctorate that I'm working in is in student affairs, college student affairs administration. And so it's a sociology and an education degree kind of rolled into one. And dealing particularly with college students, it's easier to switch my courses to an online format. It's harder, I think, about really our engineering students, our chemistry students, and having to switch those in bio, having to switch those students to online courses. But amazingly, we found ways to do it, right? And we've had our engineering students on here before talking about that. This was probably a month ago, but talking about that very experience. I understand it's difficult to think about doing all of your courses online. I'm going to be honest, and this is just Jordan's opinion right now, because this is not public information. This is not being stated by the University System of Georgia or by Kennesaw State University, but I really feel like we're going to be in person this fall for traditional classes. That's what I feel. And even if we're not, for me, the conversations that I'm having with families is, I get that online was a little scary, right? One, Kennesaw State has been delivering online courses for over 20 years. So it's not like, and there are definitely, I was having this conversation on Instagram Live yesterday, actually, there are definitely smaller liberal arts colleges that did not offer online courses. That was not their mode of delivery, of course delivery, and they had to switch to that. That's a whole nother environment than what we're able to do, being a big public research university and also having the experience that we have. Also being a young institution still in the grand scheme of higher education, Kennesaw State has always been known as an innovative institution, always on the cutting edge of higher education in America. So I think we had a lot of advantages over other institutions to be able to switch and pivot on a dime to meet the educational needs of our students. But to directly answer the question, my biggest thing in thinking about it, as Meredith put it, from being a dad, I have a 21-year-old daughter in college, and my advice would be to her, much like it would be to an 18-year-old coming for the first time as a first-year freshman, is do not delay time to degree. Do not put off your ability to advance, even if that means that you're taking 12 credit hours. You're going 4 online classes if we're doing online. Doing 4 online classes or 4 hybrid or whatever it ends up working out like, it's better to be enrolled in college and continuing to progress towards your degree than taking a semester or a year off. We're having families call us and ask about deferment because they want to take what they're calling a gap year. And I question the whole use of the term gap year because you're not really at this point able to actually have a gap year experience, an experience that's transformative, that's usually these are programs that are done abroad or done in communities that need some sort of help, where you're really able to engage in a different type of experience. Meredith did something sort of like a gap year and went and lived in Yellowstone and communed with nature, or lived in a tent or something, stuff like that, right? So where it changes you as a person. You're not really able to have those experiences right now. You're not able to travel abroad. You're not able. There's a lot of issues with jobs right now, right? So, to me, the best thing is to get into school, even if the environment is not like you hoped it would be. It's only temporary. I promise you, this whole thing is not going to last forever. It's only temporary, and the biggest thing to me, when I start to line up pros and cons, would be a big con would be delaying time to degree, because time to degree, when you graduate with a bachelor's degree, your earning potential goes up significantly. You don't know what else is going to happen in life, right? All sorts of stuff happens to us while we're being human beings. Life, yeah. And you really want to have the ability to earn money as best as possible, and that comes with a bachelor's degree. The other thing I'm talking about with families, particularly for currently enrolled students, is if you take a semester off or you take a year off, you're delaying your time to get into graduate school. So if you're out there, you're pre-med, pre-dental, pre-law, whatever it may be, all of the pre-professional programs, as well as just thinking about, like for me, getting a master's in education, and then ultimately, we're talking about years down the road, but ultimately going for your doctorate. You're delaying those degrees and delaying earning potential from those degrees, and even delaying what you can save up for retirement, things like that. So there's a lot of research out there that points to staying in school, and even if it's taking 12 credit hours instead of 15 or something like that, just backing off on one course, that you're more likely to still graduate from college. You're more likely to go to graduate school. There's a lot of supporting evidence to show you should just put your head down and stay in school. And I think we're all learning. A lot of our students, as we've had our tour guides up here and different student participants, we're trying to find some positives in this experience for everybody and in life, right? Some of these positives are we're spending more time with our families than we've spent in a very, very long time. And I think another big positive is that our students although our students, I understand, are put through a lot of different situations in life where they're learning grit and learning how to really know what it is to work through difficult situations and stressful times and come out better for it.
So true.
This is another one of those big occasions where our students, much like you out there on the other side of the lens, are being challenged through this, and we're going to come out better, stronger for it. It's just trying to see the positive as well as deal with the negative, right?
Totally. And too, once you stop, sometimes it's harder to get going again, and so we don't. Just as Jordan was saying, just you can do it. You can do it. You're here. You're asking the questions. Go for it.
Yeah. And let me finish, by saying, if you want to talk to any of us about this, any one of us up here, please just reach out to us. Reach out here on Facebook Live. If you go to our website, admissions.kennesaw.edu, there's a Meet Your Counselor page, and we would love to talk to you one-on-one about this. We can virtual chat with you, so we can do a video chat. We can just email back and forth if you want, whatever you need. But we're here for you, and we're here to talk through these situations. So ultimately, if you're still not comfortable at the end of the day, we can talk about deferring your enrollment as well.
Great, thank you. So we're having an Instagram war here within Facebook. Everyone's dropping their handle faster than the other person. So please go follow all of them so you can see what they're doing over the summer and then when this year and things they have done in the past so you can see yourself there as well. So we've had a question. Considering we go back and everything goes back to normal, are international students required to live on campus?
No, international students, no, you don't have to live on campus. Some majors do like that they want you to live on campus depending on your major as well. But living on campus is a great experience. I always like to say do live on campus just because it's fun. It gives you a chance to be able to be involved. But also talk with students because housing does fill up. You want to apply early. And so the faster you get accepted, the faster you can apply for housing. And there's also amazing apartment complexes that Bob, the Big Al bus, actually stops by as well. So there is a means of transportation around campus too. So even if you're international and don't have a car, there is a way to be able to get around for that.
And I think one of the greatest parts about being able to live on campus is that you get to really engage with other American students and really get immersed in the culture, the American culture, and that's something that we would love for you to have when you're here at Kennesaw State.
Great. Garrett just dropped the admissions handle, so we're the only ones who haven't dropped our handle. That was
Okay,
mine.
good. Thank you, Garrett.
Good job, Garrett. Thank you.
Yeah, go check it out. Go check out check out all of these Instagram pages because you're going to get to hear from real people. A lot of times it's students doing student takeovers, cool stuff, right? But you get to see lots of cool pictures, which is what you want to see, lots of video. We've got a new video out today that the Kennesaw State University Instagram put out. That's our Declaration Day champion video, so go check that out. It's really cool. And then if you have questions, you can DM any of these different groups. So housing, orientation, International Student Association, us, Global Village, so on and so forth.
Yes,
Awesome.
and we've dropped everyone's email in the chat as well. So
Cool.
there you
Perfect.
go. Callie, can you tell me what the intensive English program is, and is that required?
So the intensive English program is not required, but we definitely would like for you to participate in the program if you want to improve your English. And if you eventually complete up to level 6 of the program, you can have the TOEFL or the the TOEFL or IELTS waived if you participate in this program. So it is not required, but it's definitely an opportunity for you to improve your English, your grammar, your communication. All of that will be great, and you can find out more information about the Intensive English Program, or as we like to call it, IEP. If you email IEP@kennesaw.edu. We're offering summer classes, and they will be delivered online, so definitely check them out.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you. Can someone touch on our nursing program at Kennesaw?
I mean, is this just a general question?
We just want,
sure.
How is your nursing program? So what would you like to
Amazing.
share?
The best.
It is.
So one thing I like to say, I know that we always like to be nice, right? Because we are a sister institution with a lot of other University System of Georgia schools, obviously, right? We're all in the same family. There are some other private institutions in Atlanta that also offer nursing, but I'm going to tell you that our nursing program is the best in the state and one of the best in the nation, absolutely.
That's
And
right.
the proof is in the pudding, all right? That's a good saying. I don't know if it's a Southernism or if it just makes sense, but the proof is in the pudding because every year when you have the NCLEX passage rate come out, every year we have 100% pass rate or very close to it, 99% pass rate.
Yep.
This is your actual licensure exam so that you can be a registered nurse licensed to work in hospitals, so on and so forth. Shout out to my mom, Amy Stevenson. She will probably not see this, but she works at Kennesaw, which is a WellStar hospital, very close to campus. As a matter of fact, it's in between the Marietta campus and the Kennesaw campus. WellStar, obviously, we are the WellStar School of Nursing, so plug there for WellStar, the second largest hospital network in the state of Georgia. But my mom gets to work with KSU graduates all the time, and my mom, as well as other people, we have just glowing reviews about our students while they're in their clinicals, being incredible students, and then afterwards. My mom was telling me about a young lady that graduated from us a couple years ago, works in the ICU at WellStar. So different. My mom's a NICU nurse, works with the smallest babies, right? And this person that she's talking about, she was talking with the manager of the ICU. Right now, the ICU is very busy, right? And she was saying that this individual, that she remembered her when she was doing her clinical rotation, and then obviously knows her now and manages her now, supervises her now. And she's a KSU graduate, says she is the absolute best nurse that they have on staff. And she feels like it was the training that she got, and really the critical thinking skills for nursing, the bedside manner, preparedness that a student gets from Kennesaw State's WellStar School of Nursing that made the difference. Of course, there's all of that knowledge behind it. That's how you pass the NCLEX. That's why we have such a high passage rate every year, if not a perfect passage rate on the first time that a student takes the NCLEX. But the proof is really in the pudding, both quantitatively, right, with the NCLEX, and then also qualitatively with this anecdotal story. So.
I also want to add to that nursing is actually one of our top programs for our international students, and along with computer science, mechanical engineering, accounting, management, and biology.
Cool.
Yep.
Great. Okay. We're wrapping up here, so I've got one question that I think, Will, you should be able to answer. I would hope so.
Hope so.
If I'm a student graduating from a Georgia high school, but I am international,
Sure.
do I take the SAT or ACT or the TOEFL?
Sure. No, good question. Good question. Because of the new normal that we're facing now, SAT and ACT are not being offered. And so if you are graduating from a U.S. high school, you've already shown that you're able to be English proficient in that fact. And so we are going to look at your GPA and how you're doing coming from that from your high school. But now if you're coming from outside the U.S. and your country is a non-English speaking country, then typically the SAT would have handled that for you, but the TOEFL, you will have to take the TOEFL or English proficiency exam. And do check out the website to see the other ways to be able to bypass the English proficiency requirement. But no, you should be just fine. If you're an international student, that's awesome. Just make sure you did well in your high school and come to KSU.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going to make sure the international admissions website is posted in there if it's not already been done. Because we did do a lot of things because of COVID-19 to try to remove some of those barriers and lessen the stress while still giving you opportunity to come to Kennesaw State. So I know Will and Callie were heavily involved in that process as we shifted gears very quickly, really in early March when everything was kicking in here in the United States. But definitely refer to the website because there's a lot of nuance with international admission, and we want to make it as straightforward as possible for you.
And we're here to help. We're here to help. That's the big thing.
Cool. So, what is just one piece of advice, one thing you want to share, something we haven't talked about, just one other thing you want to share before we close up about international admissions and or international students?
One piece of advice is that, like Will said, planning early is always essential for you to really prepare yourself for the TOEFL or for the SAT or the ACT. If you did not take the SAT or the ACT, you would need to take the TOEFL if you come from a country where English is not the official language or their national language. So it is required for you. They offer home editions of the test. So if you would like to really prepare yourself to be successful here at Kennesaw State. And these are some of the small steps that you have to take for you to get admitted and then transition to Kennesaw State and be successful. Always reach out to us. We're available from 8 to 5. We're still here. We're working remotely, but we're still here for you. If you have any questions, if you would like to have a one-on-one, I'm available. Just shoot me an email, and I'll be happy to answer all your questions.
Yeah. And for me, if you've been accepted, I mean, awesome. We love it. We're hoping that everything's going to go back to the normal, but do get engaged. Take those classes online. If we're able to get embassies and everything's to open up later this year, and that way maybe for spring, we get everything processed for you, everything's going to be great. But we're here for you, and we'll do everything we can for you.
Awesome. I want to leave with this one thing, and then we're going to close out. So as soon as we know about fall and whether we're going to be traditional in-person or a hybrid or fully online, all of these different scenarios, right? As soon as we know, we're going to let you know.
Totally.
I think the university is going to send out like fireworks and planes with those runners behind them that normally would say like, you know, Jesse, would you marry me? This one's going to say, Kennesaw State's back in person for fall, you know, stuff like that. So we're just going to blast it out there every single way possible. Just watch out, right? We're going to email it. We're going to post it online. We're going to make videos. We're going to do lives. We're going to just do everything. Text you. I mean, everything under the sun to let you know. So just watch out. I promise you, we will let you know as soon as we know. Okay. Well, that's it. This has gone by super fast.
Super fast.
If you have additional questions and you didn't get to ask it during this time, pop it there in the chat, and we'll make sure to answer them after the live session is over, which is over right now. Okay. We always close with a hooty hoo, and we will talk to you very soon. All right. Hooty hoo. Hooty hoo.